Hello, and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. In this video, we're going to look at the last deck from the Time Spiral set, and which is Sliver Evolution, which is red, green, white, so always exciting to get a three-color deck, I think. So we're going to look at the deck list now. So, 29 creatures, which is to be expected when we have slivers. 4 instants, 2 enchantments, and 25 land, and mana curve off to the side there. So, theme of the deck, it's slivers, so this is the first time slivers have been printed in the new modern frame. So yeah, this was very exciting. Like, you can't have a block all about nostalgia like Time Spiral without having slivers, and this is really cool actually because slivers are in every set of the block. Because last time we saw them, they were in Legions, and they were just in that one set. And before that, it was what? Tempest, and there was only like 10 of them. And in Stronghold, there was like another 5, and then there was none in Exodus. So for the first, this is where I think slivers get their actual proper outing. They get, a bunch of cards, which are, still to this day very, very good. Yeah, I just feel like this set is the absolute love letter to slivers, and it's like, I think it's their last main set appearance actually, because they show up in, I want to say M14 or M15, one of those. That's when they sort of are in a core set, but not that's when they're redesigned. They're not like the classic like buggy alien slivers like they are. Like they're a bit different there. We'll get to those slivers. Let's talk about the Time Spiral slivers first. So I say bunch of slivers. I think there was probably 4 in each color. So yeah, really good. I think red, green, white are usually the best colors to do slivers, and I think that's the color combination that's more associated with slivers these days. Yeah, it dips into blue and black, but I think green is usually the primary, and then red, white are kind of equal secondary colors when it comes to slivers. Anyway, let's look at them. So we have 4 Gemhide slivers. So 1 color, 1 green, 1/1. All slivers are birds of paradise, basically. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So quick important thing, this is still at the point where the sliver effects are symmetrical, so if you were playing against another person using slivers, that you would be giving them these bonuses as well. But if that happens, it happens. At least then everyone is equally powerful, I suppose. But yeah, Gemhide is a really great sliver, especially in this 3-color deck. Really, really helps out. So yeah, great card to start looking look at to start looking at these slivers. 2 Might Slivers, it's just a 5 mana 2/2. All slivers get +2/+2, so it's a 4/4 on its own, and +2/+2 is like a really good boost. And so you've got so many creatures in here; they're all slivers, obviously. So this is really good for making your whole army of slivers like a lot more dangerous. One of the rares in the deck is Fungus Sliver, so 3 colors and a green for a 2/2, and all slivers have, basically it's the Fungusaur ability. All slivers have, whenever this creature is dealt damage, and basically it survives, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So again, like really, really great. You can kind of play a bit recklessly with your slivers, like force opponent to make blocks. It puts them in this really horrible decision of like, oh, well, if I attack and you block and your slivers survive, they'll be stronger. If you attack and I do block, they'll become stronger, or do I let them through? So yeah, Fungus Sliver can very quickly get out of control. And obviously, if you have multiples of them, that would be insane. But yeah, as I say, there's only 1 in the deck. So then we have the red slivers. So 2 Fury slivers, 6 mana for a 3/3. All slivers get double strike. Yep. Again, like really solid ability. Again, makes your slivers like a lot more dangerous. Double strike is a really powerful keyword to give, especially like to your whole board. I would say 6 mana for that effect is actually very, very good. Yeah, I mean the thing is, like, even I don't know. I feel like even the best slivers, I feel like, are ones that like you could play them on their own with no other slivers and they'd still be okay. I would say like a 6 mana for a 3/3 with double strike on its own would be fine. So the fact it shares out its ability is even better. So yeah, really good red sliver. 3 Bone Splitter slivers. So 4 mana for a 2/2 gives all slivers +2/+0. So not quite as good as Muscle Sliver, but obviously a bit cheaper. It's a 4/2 on its own. So yeah, that's fine. That's fine, I think. And then two-headed slivers, 2 mana for a 1/1. Basically, all slivers get menace. I mean, it wasn't called menace back then, but it's basically, I think we used to call it the Goblin War Drum ability. But yeah, now it's menace. So again, makes these blocks a lot harder for your opponent to deal with. So not only are your slivers getting really, really strong, they're also now a lot more difficult to block. And then moving on to some white slivers. So the other rare of the deck is Pulmonic Sliver. So 3 colors and 2 white for 3/3. All slivers get flying. I mean, that alone is very, very good, just to give you a whole board evasion. And if it would die, it goes back on top of your library instead. So it basically turns all your slivers into Avenging Angel, which is kind of fun. That's one of the very first cards I looked at in this video series in the Deep Freeze deck. But yeah, this is really good. I mean, there is the potential, like, if all your slivers get wiped out, they all go on top of your deck, and then like your next few turns are then just essentially redrawing what's been killed. But at least they don't die. At least you can kind of rebuild, I guess. And also this lets you play very aggressively with slivers. Like even if they die, it doesn't matter. They go back on top of the library. You're going to draw them again. So yeah, pretty good, I think. 3 Quilled Sliver, this basically turns all your slivers into crossbow infantry. 2 mana for a 1/1, all slivers get tap. This creature does 1 damage to an attacking or blocking creature. Yep, just again, very, very solid. 3 Sidewinder Sliver, 1 white for a 1/1, gives all your slivers flanking, which is really good. I go back to the 2-headed sliver that said, I said that makes your slivers hard to block. This also makes them hard to block, because flanking is this kind of weird ability. So if a creature without flanking blocks a creature with flanking, the non-flanking creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. So so basically an X1 without flanking cannot block this creature. I mean, it can, but it will just immediately die. So yeah, just again another thing that makes blocking these slivers very, very difficult. Combined with the 2-headed sliver, and flanking, yeah, really tricky to deal with. And then 3 Watcher Slivers. This is kind of like the opposite of Bone Splitter Sliver. 4 mana for a 2/2. All your slivers get +0/+2. Again, not as good as Muscle Sliver, but obviously just 1 mana cheaper, so it comes down a little earlier. Yeah. So yeah, pretty good. So really just good, strong, straightforward effects on all these slivers. And then we have just a few multicolour slivers to tie things out. So a single harmonic sliver, so 1 colour, 1 green, 1 white. All slivers have, when this creature comes into play, destroying an artifact or enchantment, which is really, really strong. It's not a May effect, but I don't think you've actually got anything in this deck that really cares. You wouldn't accidentally destroy your own stuff. But turning every sliver into a naturalize is really, really strong. Or disenchant, if you if you're one of those people out there who prefer this effect to be in white rather than green. But yeah, really, really strong effect. And then 2 Spine Sliver. So this is a time-shifted card. Which makes it legal in Modern, has the purple little time-shifted icon there. So 1 green, 1 red. This is a sliver from Stronghold. Whenever a sliver becomes blocked, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn for every creature blocking it. So again, it's just a really good ability. So I mean, the dream is that you've got Sidewinder Sliver, you've got 2-headed Sliver, so your slivers have got flanking and have to be blocked by at least 2 creatures. So then you add in Spine Sliver, so when they do become blocked, they get stronger anyway. So a lot of this deck is about blocking your slivers like an absolute headache for your opponent, and I'm on board with it. I really like slivers, because they're just so straightforward and so fun. It's just, sometimes you just need a deck where you just slap down a bunch of creatures that all benefit one another, and get absurd power and toughness, and then just completely overwhelm an opponent. That's just very fun to me. And then 2 Venser's Slivers. It's just 5 mana for 3/3. Has no abilities, but it is a sliver, so it gains all these effects. It's kind of like a grown-up metallic sliver from back in Tempest days. But yeah, it's fine. This is probably the first card you would switch out though, because it's it's a sliver that doesn't do anything. It's a pretty boring sliver. So then moving on off the creatures, we've only got a few other cards in the deck really. A single Avoid Fate, another time shifted card. 1 green to counter an instant aura spell that targets a permanent you control, which is alright. That stops that stops a kill spell against one of your key slivers. I think it's fine. for a single green. Also, so fun to see like counter on a green spell, and it not be related to like +1/+1 counters. A single molder. So this is, it's kind of like naturalized, isn't it? X on a green, destroy an artifact or enchantment with mana value X, and it can't be regenerated, and you gain X life. So you have to put a bit of mana into it maybe to make it worthwhile, but at least you get some life out of it as well, I suppose. And then 2 strength in numbers. Really good buff spell for this deck. 1 colours, 1 green. Until end of turn, target creature gets trample and +X/+X, where X is the number of attacking creatures. So if you're just attacking with all your slivers, and you should, you slap this down and make one of your slivers like an even better attacker. So, yep, super great, super good spell for the deck. Oh, and then 2 Spirit Loops. Spirit Loop is a really good aura. 1 colours, 1 white, goes on a creature. Whenever it deals damage, you gain that much life. And if Spirit Loop is destroyed, it goes back to your hand. So yeah, really good. You can just put this down on slivers. I say play really aggressive with them. If they die, doesn't matter. You're getting Spirit Loop back, and you've probably just gained a bunch of life because your slivers are of such monstrous size. A single gemstone mine. So another time shifted card. This is really helpful as you're playing 3 colors. It comes in with 3 mining counters on it. You can tap, remove a mining counter, and you get 1 mana of any color. But then if that was the last one, you sacrifice it. So this is kind of like a precursor to like the Vivid lands, I feel. It's nice to see where the inspiration came from, like with cards like this. But yeah, it's obviously it's really good in this deck. It's a shame it can't tap to give you like colorless, but it doesn't come in tapped actually, which is actually pretty strong. So you could tap it for anything the second it comes in. So yeah, pretty strong actually. And then 2 Terramorphic Expanse. This is such a great card, and like this is the first set where it was printed, and it's really just set the trend, I think, for stuff like like Evolving Wilds. I mean, Evolving Wilds is basically Terramorphic Expanse, but just different name. But I love this card. It is like the ideal budget fetch land. If you don't want to pay a lot of money for like secondary market prices on fetch lands, honestly, Terramorphic Expanse I think is just perfect. It's like such a good budget option for land searching. It's great. I'm not lying when I say I probably have about 50 of these because they're in a load of kind of pre-constructed products. I probably opened a load in boosters because I was buying Time Spiral boosters at the time. I really like this card. I think it's great. Really good for players like me who kind of like don't want to maybe spend too much money on a deck, but you still want some efficiency. So yeah, Terramorphic Expanse is a great card, I think. And that was it. That was the deck. The thing is with slivers, it's usually very straightforward because it's just usually a bunch of slivers. But there's a few things that we could have had in here as well, I suppose. Firewake Sliver was a possibility, I suppose. It's the another red-green sliver. It gives all your slivers haste, and they all gain pay 1, sacrifice this creature to give another sliver +2/+2 to end of turn. I mean, just giving them all haste is honestly pretty strong. But that extra ability as well, where you can sacrifice them to buff up another one, is pretty good, I feel. Spinneret Sliver, I thought could have gone in here as well. It's just 2 mana for a 2/2, gives all your slivers reach. I thought that could be okay, I suppose. And then Browbeat as a potential time-shifted card. I really like Browbeat. It's 3 mana. And your opponent gets a choice in how it works, but it's either 5 damage or you draw 3, and both those effects are like something this deck wants. So paying 3 I think is fine for this effect. Obviously, those effects are really good at 3 mana, and it's obviously offset, I say, by you don't get to choose how it works out, but you'd be happy with either of these effects, I think. So in summary, it's a really strong deck. I had this one, definitely played it out of the box a few times, and I think it just works very, very well because it's so hard to go wrong with slivers. I know like the original Tempest Sliver deck was one of the first we looked at, and like that was not great, honestly. But as the years go on and like design kind of gets more refined, yes, it's so hard to go wrong with slivers because I say you just play a bunch of copies of them and they all benefit each other. It's just it's just great. I just love slivers. They're just absolute casual gold. So yeah, I really like this deck. But what are your thoughts on Sliver Evolution after seeing the deck list? Did you have this one? What did you think of the deck list? Would you make any changes to it? What are your thoughts on slivers in general? Just please, if you have any thoughts or comments or opinions, please put a comment below. I always like reading those. But now we're done with Time Spiral. Just the set, not the block. So next video we're going to start looking at Planar Chaos, which is out of all the Time Spiral set, Time Spiral block even, Planar Chaos is probably my absolute favourite set of the three. So yeah, really looking forward to talking about the decks from that set. But that'll be next time. So until then, thank you for watching and listening, and have a great day.